Hey everybody, I wanted to make a quick little video about this Sunday's Money in the Bank pay-per-view, more specifically about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, because I've seen a lot of discussion online over people saying that they want to see Big E win the Money in the Bank briefcase. And while I think it's great that people want to see Big E elevated to a top star main event status, the purpose of this video today is to discuss why I think the Money in the Bank isn't the way to get him there. Not because I don't want to see him as a main event star, but because I think there is a better option to get him there. First things first, the reason why I don't think the Money in the Bank is the right fit for Big E, because while I do understand why people want to see him with the briefcase, because the briefcase has a good track record of elevating stars, as long as you don't count recent years. But there is a character trait that the most successful briefcase holders / users have that I don't think Big E's character needs or should have right now. The reason why I think it has a good track record with elevating stars is because a lot of the people who get elevated by it are heels, and the Money in the Bank concept is a very heel trope. What I mean by that is that it benefits villains more than it does heroes. The reason why I say that is because the very rules of the briefcase are very villainous. The holder of the briefcase can cash it in for a world title match whenever they choose. Not the champion, not management. The champion can be injured. The champion could have just had a barbaric match with somebody, and it doesn't matter. If the person holding the briefcase wants to cash it in then and there, they can. And it's a trope that's been used to benefit a lot of wrestlers and their characters, but again, that's mainly as heels. Examples being Edge, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, all people who use the briefcase either as heels or catalysts for a heel turn, and they all found great success. A beautiful example of this is CM Punk, because he won the briefcase in 2008 as a babyface, cashed it in as a babyface, and was a mid-card world champion. And I'm not even blaming him for that, but that's a discussion for another time. But the point being is, as a babyface, he didn't really benefit that much from it. But fast forward a year later, yes, CM Punk wins the briefcase again as a babyface, but this time he uses it to turn heel. And not only does he find more success, but mind you, he was on SmackDown holding the World Heavyweight title. He was on the secondary show holding the secondary title. And he was main eventing pay-per-views like SummerSlam over the WWE Championship, the primary title on Raw, which is the primary show, with guys like Randy Orton and John Cena competing for that title. And CM Punk as a heel was still main eventing pay-per-views over them. That shows how much more beneficial the briefcase can be for a heel over a babyface. And I just think that if you put the briefcase on Big E, you're putting a handicap on him, because I think the way you get the most mileage out of Big E as a top star is as a babyface. That's not to say you can't turn him heel. That's not to say there aren't stories with him with the briefcase. But again, I just think there are more benefits to him as a babyface top star right now as opposed to a heel. And I think if you put the briefcase on him with the intent of building him as a top babyface star, I think it's more of a handicap than anything. So is there a concept in WWE that is the opposite of Money in the Bank? A concept that is a very babyface trope? I think there is. I think you have the Royal Rumble. Don't have Big E win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Have him win the Royal Rumble. It's a very babyface concept. One person goes in the ring and there are 29 other people in that match, and they have to outlast 29 other people just to get a shot at the world title in the main event of WrestleMania. That is a very babyface trope. That is a very babyface journey. And that's how I think you elevate Big E to being a main event star. And I think he shouldn't win the briefcase this Sunday. Now, I'm not saying that you should have a top star you're building up to lose big matches all the time. No, not by any means. But I think there's a story you could tell here. Let's say Big E is about to win the match. He is seconds away, inches away from grabbing the briefcase, but somebody pushes him off the ladder and he loses. I think you could tell the story where he could have got the briefcase, but he failed and he loses, but he gets back up. And not only is he going to get back up, he's going to go through the Royal Rumble to get that world title match. He's going to go through it the hard way, not the easy way. Have that loss be a motivating factor. Again, I'm not saying have your baby face that you're building up or your top heel either lose in the road to being built. But as you can see with Stone Cold, you can lose a big pay-per-view match, but if done the right way, if the right story is told, that loss can do more for that character as opposed to getting a win in that instance. That all being said, if you have Big E win the Royal Rumble, who do you have him challenge at WrestleMania for the world title? Well, I think it's a very simple answer, but I think it's the best answer. I don't want to see, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't want to see Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Yes, I understand there's a story there, and possibly a great story. But I think a better story, and a more beneficial story to the company, a more star-making story, is Roman Reigns versus Big E. Thank you all so much for sitting through that one. I really appreciate it that you spend any time of your day watching the nonsense that I spew out here. This was originally part of a project that I've been working on and off for about the last 8 months, but I really wanted to try to get it done before Money in the Bank, but it's nowhere near completion because I'm trying to get it done just right. But I did take this part of that project to put it and post it here as its own video because I really wanted to get this, at least this part out before the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So for those of you watching, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please feel free to give the video a like and even comment down below what you guys think. Who do you think is going to win the Money in the Bank? Who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble? Who do you think is going to headline WrestleMania? Or any of your thoughts in between, or even any feedback or constructive criticisms, because it's always appreciated. If you want to see more content like this, please feel free to give the video a subscribe, because I'd really love it for those of you who aren't currently subscribed to stick around and watch the content that I have going forward. That all being said, stay safe and thank you.